Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio. This is our first post-Dubai episode. This is our end of the year episode where we are going to go over everything we liked and we saw this year. We have Ben, who is still in Europe. We don't know when he's coming back.
Very soon. Last podcast.
And then I have Derek here, obviously. We're both in the same location. And Derek's going to explain what this episode will look like because we're going to get right into it. No, nothing, just right into it.
So like Craig said, we're not going to do a wrist check this time. We're going to go straight through. There's 16 different categories, kind of like superlatives, that Ben, Craig, and I are going to have to put watches in. A good example, favorite watch of the year. This will be kind of a fun episode to jump around and see our different choices.
And it's all new releases. Everything released in 2025 in different categories, just to clarify.
And between the three of us, all three of us have been around a ton of watches this year. We've handled so many of them that we're going to talk about. So it's not just some AI list we came up with, but this is directly from our firsthand experience. I think you guys are going to really have fun with this episode.
So before we get going, I'm going to give like a little sneak peek of some of the categories. We have a bunch of different price categories that we're going to start out with. And then we start getting into things like dress watch, dive watch, Microbrand, Collab, Overhyped, watcher brand, and some things to watch in 2026 to kind of wrap it up. So that gives you an idea. I haven't told you everything. So you got to watch it all to see it. So Derek, start us off. What's first?
All right. Number one on this list is the best watch under 1,000. So who wants to start here?
Ben, our resident European.
Yes, I will start. And it's also funny because we're not doing a wrist check this episode, but I can actually use this for my wrist check.
I wonder if we have a similar one.
We might. I don't know. I am wearing the Furlan Mari Sabbia Rosa. It comes with two straps. I'm wearing on this brown strap because I'm wearing a brown jacket. Felt right. I wore it a lot in Dubai. I love it. I got stopped, and you guys can attest to this, multiple times of people being like, what is that? What is that? It's $750. And I get that it's a Mecca Quartz watch. Some people don't want to spend that money, but the finishing, the watch itself is awesome. The people are great. I've been wearing this consistently since I bought it a couple months ago. That's it. When I have watches who are much more expensive than $1,000, I think it's great.
You had CEOs of like big brands when you were in meetings, I remember. Asking what it is and like looking at it the whole entire meeting, not engaging with you because they're looking at this watch. So I can attest to that. Crazy. It's funny because I have a watch from the same brand, another Sabbia Rosa from Furlan Mari on my pick. And I printed it out. So you know that, I actually chose this. I chose the CLE Gallery Saudi Arabia edition. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that just came out.
The one that just came out. It's like really cool. I'm getting into being back from Dubai into the Eastern Arabic numerals, and I don't know if you can still get it. I think it might be sold out or they may have stopped selling them, but that would be my pick. So great minds think alike, I think.
Well, for my pick, I chose the brand new Seiko Alpinist that was just updated. I'm showing Ben here. I try to screenshot as many of them as I can. This is the new teal pine dial color. It comes in... It's actually called Teal Pine, and there's like a whole story because it's connected to the older Seiko Alpinist, but they pretty much revamped it. They added the Alpinist text under Seiko, which a lot of people are a fan of. The price is higher, but they did improve it. Better movement, 72-hour power reserve. They fixed up the look of the dial, so it's not as cluttered. They made the X smaller. Still has all the same features and that classic compass bezel. And the last thing is there is a super hard coating on the stainless steel, so it won't scratch as much over time. Can you see that, Ben, on your screen?
Yes, I actually saw you made a video about this watch. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I did.
Reels content been great, by the way, Derek. Total side note.
Oh, thank you.
But I love that watch. It's great. I've never actually been an Alpinist person, but that one really caught my eye.
Thank you. All right.
So next one?
Yeah,
next we have under $5,000, and we'll let Derek start first. I assume it's probably a Grand Seiko. But we shall see.
We shall see. So I think I texted you guys ahead of time that I'm going to break a rule already. And I'm going to say...
This is a very Ben thing to do.
Here's my reasoning. So I know it's supposed to be best under 5,000, but this watch is just above 5,000, like 5,500. And I wouldn't consider that the best watch under 10,000. So I'd rather just put it best watch in the 5K range. Okay? And that's the...
We'll allow it.
Thank you, Ben. And that's the Longines Spirit Flyback Chronograph, the 39.5 millimeter. They completely revamped it. I thought this is such a good value for money because How often can you get a flyback chronograph with a hand wound movement, blued screws? The next one I think about is from Blancpain that is like $20,000.
Yeah.
This is a fourth of that price within the same group, but I think this is such good value for money for a watch at around $5,000.
I remember seeing that at the Longines event where they're showing everything for the whole entire year and really liking it. So good choice.
They took off the stars on the dial too, so they kind of refined it. To me, it's like the Black Bay 58. What that was when it first came out, but for Longines.
Okay, so I'll go next, and then Ben, you can go afterwards. So this is going to be maybe the one time that I push my own brand. So I'm going to go with the watch I'm wearing, the Ren Diver 38 Mad. It's under 2,000, but we don't have that category. So this is the watch, if you don't remember, that I made originally for my niece for her bat mitzvah. It's our first Fume dial, so we have a fully loomed bezel, and her edition is the no date, and then the production ones are the date. So this is what I'm choosing. I really like the sterile all white look. People have seemed to really enjoy it. Like your first choice, the Seiko, it has the hardened steel so that it will not really scratch.
That's a really cool pick. You actually could have also put this in another category later on. I don't want to spoil it, but that's a good pick. All right, Ben, what you got?
I chose the Christopher Ward C12 Loco. Some people thought it was ugly. I can't really blame them too much. I think a free sprung balance, a high horology at that price, what they're doing, that's an incredible watch. I think a lot of brands would have made that a $30,000 watch, and they were like, nah, $4,500, I think, on the rubber. Incredible. I have it. I don't have it with me in Europe, so it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's pretty sick for under $5,000. I actually had a hard time, I don't know about you guys, this time finding a bunch of stuff under $5,000.
Yeah.
I imagine
I
Derek just went over. You probably.
Well, that's why I had to break my rule. But I think that this year we saw a lot of price increases with brands. So things that used to be just under 5,000 are just over now. That's why I was like, this Longines probably was just under 5K before it launched. Same with like some Grand Seikos and all this stuff. But now $5,000 is like Nomos and some other brands, when it used to be more like Tudor. Now it's like Tudor's going into the 6-7 range.
Yeah, and
everything is just pushing up.
Yeah,
we're seeing a lot of micro brands also go up in price. I think above 5,000 that have typically been below, like Atelier One, for example.
Yeah,
and I think we're also seeing the fact that you have a lot of watches that are micro brands that are under 1,000 and also under 2,000, but there's not as many that are in that $2,000 to like $5,000 range. You have like Toledano and Chan and Anoma and Colloquium, and you could pick a watch from any of those brands and it could fit under 5,000, but the micro brands are still generally under kind of 2,000. It's like Tudor, Grand Seiko, and Longines between 2 and 5. So yeah, I think that's been a difficult category.
For the viewers, let us know what your picks are for the $5,000 range, because we would love to hear them. I'm sure you guys will have a lot of choices here. We're gonna get into the next one. This one, we're doubling it. It's best watch in the $10,000 range. So now we'll have Craig go first.
I'll go first. Okay. So I almost bought not this watch, but a variation of this watch that was released, I think, over a year ago when I was in Japan. It's the Grand Seiko.
Oh, Grand Seiko.
Yeah. So this watch is actually $10,000 on the dot. So I'm kind of.
No, I allow it.
You're $500. I think this is, $10,000, $10,000 and below. Grand Seiko SLGW 007, the blue birch bark.
Yeah.
So not the birch bark is the manual wine version of the white birch.
Yeah.
And then they came out, I think, last month with the blue birch bark. Yeah. It's birch bark, but it's blue. So I'm really eyeing this watch. I almost bought it from you, Derek.
Yeah.
I put in a feeler to Grand Seiko about buying it. So I need a dress watch. I know it comes on kind of like a non-dress watch strap, but I think you can easily switch that out for a gator strap because it's pretty small and thin. If I'm picking something up around the $10,000 price point in the next 6 months, it's probably going to be that watch.
I think you should buy it. And from me too. Chat, what do you think, chat?
Get a Grand Seiko.
All right, Ben, what do you got for a 10K?
I also had hard time with this, and I feel like it's because we were just at Dubai. Like, I feel like every watch is over $50,000. So like, I'm like, how do I find one under 10th? It's just crazy. But I am going to go with a watch I haven't talked about, the IWC Top Gun Mojave Desert, but the time only. I spent some time with the Chronograph and I really, really, really liked it. The time only is just a better fit, thinner, and it's also then under $10,000.
Ceramic, right?
It's, beige ceramic, like a desert look to it. I think it's really cool. And there's really nothing like it that you can buy. I would have picked the Lake Tahoe, which is the white ceramic one, but now there's Earthen & Co. that has something so similar. So, but I think, I really like it. So I'll choose that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't pick the Lake Tahoe, the white one. Because I know you've been lusting
I think Ben just hinted that it might come up again. That this kind of concept might come up again.
Okay.
But that's a cool choice. I actually just saw it recently on someone's Instagram, and I was like, okay, that's a pretty cool color. For me, I'm gonna go with Grand Seiko. I am again breaking the rule. I'm going above 10K. I'm actually stretching. I'm going 11.4.
Oh, I know what you're picking.
I'm choosing the Grand Seiko UFA Ice Force. I really thought hard about this. I was like, okay, in the 10K range. I feel like if someone was looking for a watch at 10K and this watch is 11K, they would spend the 11K. That's why I kind of fit it in the same category. Like, again, I wouldn't consider this Grand Seiko UFA the best watch under 20K, but around 10K, I would. This is Grand Seiko's most accurate spring drive. It's in a smaller case. They put a micro adjust, water resistant. It's got like everything you would want in a Grand Seiko put into a modern production, like not a limited edition. So for me, that's like the best watch.
So listeners and viewers, if you don't know, Derek actually came up with every single one of these categories. So he's breaking his own rules. It's not like one of us came up with, like Ben or I came up with it, and Derek was like, well, everything's so close. He came up with these and then was like, who cares about the rules that I put into place? I'm going to just...
To be fair, I did tell Ben and Craig ahead of time, hey, I'm going to break a few rules, and here's what I'm doing in these price categories. So feel free to do it yourself. I mean, Craig was like to the T, 10K with the Grand Seiko, which was a good choice too. Ben's a great choice too. But I really, at the 10K range, I think that's the best. That's the best option. I have another one, but I think it'll come up later. So in another category. This episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio is sponsored by D-Lugs. Now, D-Lugs is our go-to place for all things watch-related. Some of my personal favorites include the newly re-released Cartier Santos rubber straps, the Vacheron Constantin overseas rubber straps, the gray nubuck strap, the Delcro strap, and many more. Today, I'm wearing the newly released Zenith Chronomaster Original triple calendar in the new lapis lazuli dial. So to pair that blue dial, I'm wearing the 19mm cut-to-size rubber strap with the mosaic pattern. It makes the watch super comfortable on the wrist, and it looks really great. On top of that, D-Lugs has one of my favorite carrying cases, which is the Prism Trio, which acts as a 3-watch holder and a valet tray all in one, which is perfect for meetups. And regularly on this channel, we also love to use this D-Lugs valet tray when we show each other watches. If you want to pick up a new strap or case for your watch, check out the link in our show notes. And thanks again to D-Lugs for sponsoring this episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio. Now back to the episode. Next category is best watch 20K range. So we're just going to keep going.
20K.
Under 20 or 20K range.
We know what's happening.
I'll let Ben. Do I go first or does Ben?
Whoever
go?
wants to go first can go.
I think me.
Okay,
Ben. We're just going to go in the rotation. I think it's my turn. I'm going to go with a watch I saw for the first time in Dubai. I was very critical of it, but I really like it now. It's the Rolex Land Dweller.
That was mine.
Oh my God, yo, that was my choice too.
That was all of our. That was my choice.
Look, that was only
Hold on.
Rolex does not sponsor this podcast, by the way.
Yeah, look at that. What?
You can confirm. It's
no,
on my list.
Yeah, because Craig has it in ink, so that's like
I
real.
printed this out.
But how would I have a photo of it if I wasn't prepared to talk about it? Like
That's crazy. So we all picked the Rolex Land Dweller.
Okay, so why don't we all talk a little bit about
Ben,
why we all chose it?
Go first.
Originally didn't like it, was critical of it, and then I saw people that had it in real life that were wearing it, but I didn't get to try it on. I'm like, that actually looks pretty sick. And then I saw photos of Roger Federer wearing it, which I know is probably not the greatest reason. But then I tried it on in Dubai when we were in the Rolex booth, and some guy was wearing it, and we all put it on. And we were all obsessed with it. The movement technology is cool, so you get the horology point. Rolex is the most iconic watch brand in the world, and for them to come out a brand new line rarely happens, and that to happen while we are working in the watch industry is very cool. So I think there's something a little bit romantic about that as well. They hit it. I think the dial could use a little more refinement, but it makes up with the fact that it's a brand new Rolex line that's never been done before.
I agree. I was going to say a lot of those points are points that I would make. I saw it for the first time, at Watches and Wonders last year and have had multiple hands-on with it. I mean, I love the 36 millimeter. The 40 actually wears really well too. A lot of times you have issues with integrated bracelet sport watches, Royal Oak, for example, where they wear huge because of the way that the bracelet kind of comes out of the case, but that's not really the case on the Land Dweller. And as Ben said, the dial, like, I think they're going to evolve it over time. So if, that pattern or the, 369 are not something that you love right now, I think, in the future, they will have something for you. It's a really nice watch. It wears really well. And I think people had some fatigue from Patek introducing the Cubitus, which was very Nautilus-like. And so there was a little gut reaction to Rolex releasing the Land Dweller when it had a lot of Datejust in it and some other, watches kind of like mishmashed together in a way that people kind of were like, oh, Cubitus 2.0, which I don't think it's like that at all. I think it's a really good watch that can stand on its own.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of anyone's opinions of like whether they like Rolex or not, it's hard to deny that Rolex being the most influential, the number one sold brand in the world. Like Ben said, they came out with a new line, which rarely happens, but there's a little bit of something for everyone. First, you have the high frequency movement. The fact that Rolex opened up the case, the sapphire crystal case back on the back to prove that point, to show it. I agree. I'm not crazy about the dial itself, but it's still the fact that it also has the oyster quartz DNA in it too. Like you have the history, you have a new movement, and you have a whole totally new design. Ben and I saw it at the same time when we were in Dubai, and I was like, whoa, I really like it. Like it wears great on the wrist, even at 40, like you said. I think they did a great job. I think it's really well deserved to get the best watch under 20K. And to give you perspective, the price exactly, because I have it, it's $15,350. I checked this morning. That's for the 40 millimeter white dial with the fluted bezel. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's, the most, obviously talked about and maybe the biggest news this year in watch releases. So how can you not talk about it? I have a couple Rolexes. I have 3 Rolexes actually. If I am going to buy another one, that's at the top of my list right now.
Oh, cool. Craig's on a shopping spree this episode.
These are just in my mind, by the way. But so, okay. Next category is luxury watch over 20,000. So this can be,
I can start first.
20,000. It can be, $20,001. It can be $2 million.
Okay, that's like such a wide range. I just interpret it as like just over 20K. My choice is in the $30,000 range. I feel like Ben and I might have the same choice, but I'm going with the Vacheron Constantin 222 in steel with the blue dial. That comes in at $33,300. When I first heard about this announcement, I was very like indifferent about it because I was like, okay, it's just a steel blue dial. But when we were at Watches and Wonders, I was at an event and I saw one of the collectors there who just picked his up that same day. So I saw his and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I tried it on. I was like, this looks amazing on the wrist. When I think of the word luxury, I do feel like Vacheron does have that prestige, plus the history collection with the 222, that being their, predecessor to what the Overseas would become. And the blue dial color is actually really nice. It's unlike the Overseas blue, where it's lacquered, and it's also unlike the Petro blue that they do in their collection. So yeah, I think that's my choice. Vacheron 222.
So I went a little bit more expensive, but not like 300,000. My watch is, I think, in like $85,000 to $90,000 range, and it's a release of like the past week or two, I think.
Okay.
It's the Longa 1 Daymatic in honey gold. Have you seen that with that like brown kind of sunray dial? I like this watch. It has like the weird retrograde day, which you don't see very often. It has, that German asymmetrical dial. Longa, I'm a fan. I would love a datograph up and down, but this is such a nice watch. And they're honey gold. They're always winners. Every honey gold watch they've released, I've loved. So, I wanted to do something a little bit different that I don't talk about. Yeah, how amazing is that watch?
That is beautiful. Yeah, that's a great choice.
It's such a good watch. So it's like 75,000 euro, I think. So probably like 85,000 US dollars. Yeah, I mean,
it's not even that much.
Not even that much. No, but Longa is killing it with recently, I think. So that's what I would choose.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I actually have over 20K and I had this. And it's literally on my list. I'm changing it right now because I just thought of one. I had the Longa Odysseus.
Oh. The honey gold one? The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice too.
Honey gold. So I was going to put that. I am unfortunately switching to, you might be shocked by this, but my Watch taste has been changing since I've been in Europe. I've been loving the Tank Agache.
Whoa! I did not expect that.
The jump hour.
I know.
Which version of the Tank Agishe do you like, Ben?
Platinum.
The
Which
asymmetrical
platinum?
one or the
There's two
symmetrical
platinums.
The
one?
red one.
The asymmetrical one.
Asymmetrical one.
Oh.
Yeah.
The only thing I
asymmetrical,
find
yeah.
weird about that watch is I think if you're wearing it on your right hand, you would have to like turn your wrist in a weird angle, like just by the way that.
Right.
Or I think it's if you wear it on your left hand, you would have to curl your wrist in
Just
to
look
read.
at your phone, man.
Yeah, or just look at your phone.
I just think it looks really cool and it's so understated and it's obviously very expensive. Like it is kind of crazy. It costs that much money, but that's not what the point of the category was.
Yeah.
The point was just you like to watch over 20K and I love it. I think it's done perfectly.
I saw someone made a comment that the nickname for that watch is the Iron Mask. Like you have Dr. Doom or like MF Doom who wears that mask and they just have the apertures. That's a great choice, actually. I'm proud of us. We all had really good choices for best luxury watch.
We did.
I'll read us the next category. This is the best everyday watch of 2025. New release. So who wants to take this one?
Oh, not me, because I don't even know what I'm going to pick for this category. I missed it when I was writing everything out. So
Ben, do you want to go first?
I guess I can go first.
we love this category, guys.
People are going to think this podcast is sponsored by this brand. It's not, but I'm going with the Grand Seiko UFA. I originally wasn't going to choose this for my everyday watch, but I think what makes Grand Seiko so great outside of the fact that I think it's the most accurate mechanical wristwatch ever, the power reserve, everything on the watch, which is great. I think obviously the micro adjust Grand Seiko watches also, you can put them on rubber, you can put it on the metal bracelet, obviously, and you could also put it on a leather strap. And it's so versatile, which I think makes it the perfect everyday watch. Also on top of that, the mechanical exception it has and the aesthetics and the size. I could name 10 different things.
But the purple one, the new one in steel, it does not have a micro adjust.
That's true.
Only the original ice blue one has a micro adjust.
Only the titanium has the micro adjust.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That's a little crazy.
That is crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I am learning this on the podcast. So not the purple one.
I got a call directly from Grand Seiko the day of the launch. They told me, by the way, there's no micro adjust. I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. For someone to call me and tell me it's such a minute detail about a watch because they don't want people all thinking that it's like, pre-ordering it and being upset. But I'm sure Ben is talking about the titanium one. So that's still the best everyday watch of 2025. For me, I am going to go, I thought of this category like, if I was going to spend my money on this watch, what would it be? And so I went with the Longines Ultrachron Classic. It's a high beat watch for $4,000. And to me, that's like such good value. Comes in two sizes, 37 or 40 millimeter. It's a clean white dial. It just has the Ultrachron logo on it, but it's not very common that there's a high frequency movement under a certain, like under $6,000-$7,000. I feel like Longines is doing really well with hitting good price point and bringing like really cool watches below the $5,000 range. So I think that makes one of the best everyday watches of the year.
Okay, I got one. This is not just like an everyday watch. It's like a go anywhere, do anything everyday watch.
Okay.
It's a watch that I personally own. I'm going to go with the Norqain Wild One 39 Skeleton just because I think that's the watch that I wear when I am traveling abroad because it's super light. It's like 60 something grams. It can take a beating. You don't feel it on your wrist. So when you're traveling, it's really nice. I bring my GMT Master with me when I travel too because it's a GMT. But when I'm like going somewhere, that's the watch that I'm wearing. And I just don't have to worry about it. Also, when you're in kind of random cities, it's a lesser known brand, so you don't have to worry about it as much, and it just looks cool. And I'm sure Ben agrees. He's a big Norqain guy too.
Yes, I have the larger size, which is better for my wrist, but I love mine.
Next, we have the best dress watch of 2025, and I will start with this one. And it's a watch that has been mentioned already. I said the Cartier Privé Tank Aguiches.
Yellow gold or rose gold? There's two versions.
I think maybe yellow gold, just because I feel like that's more traditionally dress.
I like the yellow gold too.
So, I think yellow gold is kind of coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like in the past, people have thought it may be a little bit more dated looking.
Yeah.
But I think it's coming back. That's the watch that I think really kind of supercharged. It didn't start, but supercharged the jump hour kind of craze that we're still kind of in right now.
I love the yellow gold version. It comes with the green alligator strap. Each of them have like a different colored strap. I think that's the best combo aside from the platinum. just for the gold versions. That's a great choice. Ben, what do you have for best dress watch of the year?
I have a watch that we all really liked, the Breguet Subscription Classique.
Whoa, that's a great choice.
That's the one-handed one?
That is the one-handed one, correct. I loved it when I saw it before that we filmed there, and I just am obsessed with it. It's got like 96 hours of power reserve. It's modeled after an old pocket watch. It's got a Grand Few enamel dial. It won a GPHG award.
Didn't that win like the grand prize?
It won something. I just think the watch was great. I think it was perfectly done, and I think it's exactly what Breguet should have been doing. I would like to see it in 37. I think would be unbelievable, but I loved it. It's classic dress watch.
I just thought of another answer, but I don't think it kind of makes a dress watch. But I'll just say as like an honorable mention, I thought about the Vacheron Constantin Solaria, but I was like, that's not really a dress watch because it's kind of big. No. But it's a watch on a strap. But it's like the most complications.
Breaking the rules again.
But I'm not gonna put it as my favorite dress watch of the year because that's not like super attainable or anything. I also have a Cartier tank, but I'm just going with the classic Cartier tank Louis with the Sunray dial, so gold on gold. I thought that was a good one for something that's not limited and you could relatively go into any store and buy. I like the Tank Aguiche and I like your choice, but yours is a limited edition and yours is also like special allocation purpose. So mine is like you could go to any store and pick this up.
Maybe like Carrot & Co.
Maybe plug. Yeah, maybe here at the store.
I'm surprised nobody picked the Reverso on the gold mesh bracelet. I don't know if you consider that.
I don't because
of the mesh bracelet. Because Reversos you could consider a dress watch.
Yeah. That is a really good choice too. I might have it somewhere else on this list, so we'll see today.
All right, next.
We're doing the best sports watch. So this is kind of up to interpretation to my knowledge. It could be a diver. It really could be anything that's a sport watch that's designed for sport or with sport in mind.
Well, the next category is best dive watch, so keep that in mind.
Okay, I have one that's been mentioned already. When I think sport watch, we have a lot of dive watches, we have GMTs, we have all of that stuff, we have Chronograph, so I went with kind of like an integrated bracelet sport watch as my choice. So I went with the Vacheron Constantin 222 in steel. People have been asking for it since the gold 222 came in, so that was my choice. It's a good watch, still very expensive, but maybe one of the most noteworthy integrated bracelet watch releases besides the Land Dweller of 2025. So that was my choice.
All right, I will go. I don't think you guys would have expected this from me, but I went with the Rolex Daytona with their turquoise stone dial. I thought that was such a cool...
It's not a stone, I think.
Turquoise color dial. Actually, you're right. It doesn't say stone. But I thought this was pretty cool. I was like, hey, the Daytona is one of the most iconic sport watches. It's a chronograph. But now they put this like, a fun color with the yellow gold, and it looks really good on the wrist. So I thought this was like such a cool interpretation of a sports watch. I like how Craig's is like kind of follows the sport watch integrated bracelet kind of line, but mine is like, I think this is a sport watch.
That watch grew on me every single time I saw it in person a little bit more. I saw it at Watches and Wonders. I was like, this is kind of cool. Then I saw it at like another event a few months later, and I was like, I actually like this a lot more now. I think it grows on you, that watch in particular.
That's what I think too. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, that's really cool. And it kind of just stuck in the back of my brain for a while.
Okay, well, you guys both went more traditional route for sports watches. Okay. I went to one that you could actually do sport it. Ooh, this is the MB&F Legacy Machine 101 Evo. It's the new iteration of the Evo that was launched at Geneva Watch Days. It has a integrated rubber strap, which is integrated to the case. We all actually saw this watch in Dubai as well and really got hands-on with it. So I know we all know about this watch. 80 meters of water resistance. It's a little bit more durable with the screw-down crown, as well as it actually has a shock absorber on it. So not only does it have the mechanical exception that watch has, but also has a shock absorber, so you can really use this. I don't know if they actually published any 5,000 Gs of shock resistance to the watch or anything like that. But with the shock absorber, I'd be more comfortable. And it's high horology in a sport watch figure. And I don't think it got enough love. I think it's my favorite MB&F they've ever done.
I don't think that I would play sports in it, but if I spend my money on a watch. But yeah, I like where you're coming from.
If we're actually playing a sport in a watch, I don't think any of our choices are actually going. But I think we're thinking of sporty, like it's made for activity. Yeah. But
I know. I think Ben's pick would be the least likely to play sport.
I think mine is the most likely out of what we said, because mine is on a rubber strap and has a chronograph, even though I don't think you would wear a 37,000 Daytona.
Shock absorber, though.
Yes, okay. Valid. All right, I'm gonna pick the next category, best dive watch of 2025, and I'll start with this, and I'll say that my pick is based on like it being a true dive watch and being impressed by what they did in the category. So I picked the new Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 600 meters. It has the depth rating of 600 meters, even though it's 42 millimeters by 13.79 millimeters thick and 47.5 lug to lug. Now, for a 600 meter watch, that thickness is crazy. That's about the thickness of their previous one, the third generation, was 16.1 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
So that's like a real dive watch. And, to me, it looks good, but it's, you can really dive with it, and it's not an albatross on your wrist when you're wearing it every day. So that would be my pick. I think they did a great job with it. And Omega has been, I think on a tear this year.
Actually, that's my choice too. The Omega Planet Ocean for exactly the same reasons. The one specifically I like is the blue bezel version because it has the white numerals, whereas the black one has like the silver ones and they're kind of hard to see. And then the orange bezel has the orange numerals, but I like the blue one the best.
I like the blue and the orange. I like a lot too.
Yeah. What about you, Ben?
I went with not a traditional dive watch, but a dive watch nonetheless. I went the Louis Nardin Diver Air.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
One of the reasons why I picked it is I feel like there's not a lot that you can improve in dive watches. I haven't seen the new Planet Ocean in person, but I love how thin it is. But also, like, Ming makes a 600 meter dive watch that's super thin as well. Like, so for me, like, for the how crazy it is, it's like 52 grams, made of 90% of recycled titanium. It took 8 years to make. Is it that legible? I don't know if I go diving with it. I don't think you can really see it underwater. But they like took the dive watch and like turned it on its head. I thought that was pretty cool.
Put a dial in there, it adds 10 grams to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one when we recorded our episode at Watches and Wonders, we were all wearing them.
Yeah.
It was very lightweight on the wrist.
Still love it. I'm one of the things, side note, I know we don't have that much time, but being in Europe, I miss getting samples. Like, how like you guys know when you get a sample and you like scratches that itch so you don't have to buy a watch. Like, I haven't had one in 3 months. And
You
I'm
gotta
like,
come back
my first one's probably going to be the Diver Air because I want it.
Wow.
Next category is best chronograph.
Oh,
so who
geez.
wants to go first?
I am going with, it's not just a chronograph, but it is a chronograph, and I picked it because of that. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak RD5. And the reason why I picked it was, yes, as a tourbillon, yes, it's made of that crazy material. But what the three of us learned when we were in Dubai about how the chronograph works, they completely changed, the first brand to ever do this, how the pushers work on the chronograph. It's really seamless. It's really nice. And I think it's the thinnest chronograph they've ever done as well. And they did it to do that.
Honestly, that is one of the best chronographs of the year too. I actually have it on my list as well. But just to add another choice, I have a secondary choice. I really liked the Zenith Chronomaster triple calendar with the lapis lazuli dial. I think you guys remember I was like really obsessed about talking about it. The only thing I don't love is the price point on that one. But I think it's cool because it's original Zenith chronograph and then they put a stone dial, which looks really nice, especially at a time where stone dials are more popular.
So I'm going really kind of high end. I don't love the price on this. I know Ben doesn't love the price on this. But the Tag Heuer Monaco split second chronograph, the Air one or whatever it's called, with a 3D printed case and the gold in the side. We saw that, remember, in Dubai. It was released during Dubai Watch Week. I just think it's pretty sick. And it's a split second chronograph. It's made by the same movement factory that makes RM movements. And like the way they 3D print everything out and like put like the carbon fiber and all that stuff in there, it's just a really cool watch. It's very expensive, but I just think it's a really cool chronograph. If money wasn't an object and I didn't care about how much something costs, I would love to wear that.
I would throw in another honorable mention, but I really like the new Gray Side of the Moon from Omega Speedmaster. I feel like that's such a cool version where they put the moon crater. Because I was thinking like, okay, the Zenith is just a lapis stone dial on top of the watch, although it takes a lot of work to do that. But then Omega also like just redid their entire line and then did the moon crater all over this watch.
So yeah, cool. I saw this in person, and so not only does they print onto the dial the actual like kind of contours or cratering of the moon, it's not just random craters, but they also do it on the inside of the strap and also onto the movement. Yeah. So that's a really good pick.
The next category, best GMT of 2025.
Or world time.
Or world timer.
Okay.
World time.
So it sounds like you're ready. I know what you're going to choose then.
You know what I'm going to choose? What am I going to choose?
Well, you said world timer, so I feel like you're gonna choose
Oh,
the Nomos.
I thought you meant you knew. No, I'm not choosing the Nomos. I'm choosing the Micro Mil Spec World Timer.
Oh yeah.
Chronograph World Time, really cool. I'm hoping to get one in 2026. I've had a lot more hands-on with them in the past year. I feel like they've been kind of under the radar and are starting to like go to more events and showcase themselves. Like for the price, I think they're in between like $4,000 and $5,000, $4,000 and $6,000 for the price. You know, I think you can compare them favorably to like Breitling and, you know, other people in the category, and you're getting a really, really good deal and a unique watch and a World Time Chronograph for like $5,000.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I want to see what Ben chooses.
Okay, well, I am choosing the Nomos World Timer.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I want to mention another watch. I don't want to just,
I think there were so many, I think Watches Wonders this year, there were so many good releases, but like it was hard to say that the Nomos wasn't the best one. I really liked it. And when I was in Glasuta, when they launched the nighttime ones, I forget the exact name, fell in love with them. And allegedly I'm going to get one, which I'm very excited about, but I wanted to have it while I was here because like the World Timer function would be great while I'm traveling in Europe. Unfortunately, that won't be the case, but I'm excited. I think it's great. It's like under 10 millimeters thick. It's a World Timer. It's all made in house. And yeah, there's nothing else to say. That was mine.
I'm going to go back to Grand Seiko. I'm going with the newly released Grand Seiko Moondrop and Snowdrop. I don't know if you guys...
I don't even know if I've seen them.
I have them in the store. I'll show you right after, but I have my photo pulled up here. So that's what it looks like, the white dial.
Oh.
But then when you see the blue dial, it is so stunning.
Oh, I think I saw it.
Because with the symbolism, they have like the navy blue sky with the pop of like gold indices. So the reason why I like this so much is because in 2018, they had another version, which I used to own. The collectors used to call it the Kiku, which is like a Japanese flower. And it has a really cool spiral, and they would put GS all over it. And so this dial is so similar. And the craziest thing to me is that the price is almost the same as that limited edition from 2018. That 2018 limited edition, I saw it go up for sale for like $10,000 at one point, and it was like a $5,000 watch, which is not very common with Grand Seikos. So this is like Grand Seiko's way of bringing back this kind of dial pattern, but in new colors and new variety, but then keeping the same price.
When did this come out?
This came out like 2 weeks ago. Like literally, it was a December launch. It just came out, so that's why it's like you could miss it because you know it just came out.
I don't know if I got any information on that.
I didn't get a press thing for this. I would have saw it.
I'll show you downstairs later.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is best microbrand release of 2025.
I have thoughts if people don't select something from me. I mean, there'll be hell to pay afterwards.
Well, I picked this. I saw best microbrand, and for whatever reason, it was the best microbrand of the year. So I picked best microbrand of the year, but I'll come up with a watch as well. I'll go last though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I feel Craig staring at me. I do have the Ren Diver 38 Seafoam on my list. Okay, but I have another one too. So I'll talk about both.
Okay.
This is because I feel Craig's intense stare coming at me right now.
Oh yeah.
Ren Diver 38 Seafoam I also included as one of my favorite watches of the year. It was a watch I got to take with me on a trip earlier this year when I went to Italy, and I love that fume effect with the seafoam dial. When you have the founder sitting next to you, you know, you gotta...
You took that watch to Italy with you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I even realized.
Didn't you give it to me?
Yeah, I knew you had it.
And then I gave it back to you. I really liked it because I've always wanted, you know, I want to support your brand, and then also I like my dive watches smaller, so you made one in 38, and that made me really happy. And then I think the thinness, the size of it, you get a ceramic bezel, the fume effect, the bracelet's nice with the micro adjust, and the fact that you can take off the bracelet without tools is really nice too. Now I will go to my secondary option is the Earth & Co. Summit Collection, because this is the watch I own, and I actually wear it quite often on the weekends. I'm trying to go off things that I actually wear, and I wear the black ceramic case one quite often. And I'm planning to go on a ski trip next month. And I'm going to bring it with me because that's the whole purpose of the watch, is like a ski watch. I want to see how that does out there, which probably fine. I'm not going to fall, hopefully. Okay.
As you guys know, with Ren, we participated in Wind Up, and I'm not picking Ren again, but next to us was this brand Haim. Since we were right next to each other, I was talking to the whole entire time, and he released the Aunt Annam, which was a perpetual calendar with kind of like a smoke transparent dial for like $2,000.
I saw it,
and it's insane. It gives you that look of, you know, like an old school, like traditional Vacheron perpetual calendar, or longer perpetual calendar, something like that, but for a fraction of the price. And that was one of the stars of like that weekend at Windup. He did a really good job, and the price is pretty much unbeatable. It has a module on it to make it into a perpetual I think it's annual calendar, not perpetual calendar, sorry.
Wow.
Annual calendar, but it looks really good. And yeah, if you want something that looks like that, like, Vacheron style, I think that, or like Patek style, I think that's a great choice.
I am going to go with a watch I don't own, but I saw it at Windup same week. It's the Strom John Mayen. I think that's how you say it.
Jan, I think it's Jan Mayen.
Jan Mayen. Okay. But anyway, name doesn't matter who they collabed with. All about the watch. The red dial is absurd on this watch. The strap on the rubber is very comfortable. The case titanium finish is great. I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. I want one. I would choose the watch I'm wearing right now. This is technically a Microbrand, but I am not choosing that. I'm going to choose the Strom.
Okay.
Nice.
Great.
So,
also, can I say really quick? I know that I interpreted this prompt incorrectly, but I wanted to just give my Microbrand of the year, which nobody asked for, but you're getting it anyway. I wanted to say Studio Underdog, and the reason was I don't think they're no longer a Microbrand. I don't think you could classify them as a Microbrand. They have too many employees. They're selling too many watches. They just bought their own movement assembly arm like last week. As of the date of recording this, it's pretty incredible. So that's the goal of any microbrand, I think, is to make it into being not a microbrand. And I think that's exactly what they did. So there you go.
If I was going to go with Microbrand of the year, just to add, I would go with Atelier Wen. I think the Ancestor is great. They're adding, putting in French movements, and then obviously the Inflection is an amazing watch. It's very expensive. It's $30,000, but it has a Gerard Perregaux movement, a full tantalum bracelet and case, and it's kind of like an organic perception. So I love that watch.
To be honest, I actually, for best dress watch, I had Atelier Wen Ancestra, but the reason I gave it back to Cartier is just because I love that watch, but the ordering process takes quite a while. So I felt like it's not a watch you could just go and buy. You do have to wait like half a year or so. But I will say, for those who have it on order, it's definitely worth the wait.
This is a very like retailer specific like perspective.
I guess like I'm thinking of it like, if I wanted to buy something right now, like what would I want right now?
Well, I think like you're so used to being like a retailer and like being able to sell things to people right away that permeates like your picks, right? Which is like fun, like
makes sense.
Your perspective, like all our perspectives are different, right?
Yeah.
When I'm buying a watch personally, if I can't get it within a week, I don't care about it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of me buying a watch. It's hard.
Most improved brand of 2025.
Wow. This one is, this is a kind of a award where you would have to kind of see the full spectrum of what a brand is doing and then kind of gauge from there. I have a few thoughts here. I had Atelier Wen on there too, because they started from the Perception line and now they have the Ancestor, and now they have a full tantalum watch, which is crazy. Like, and they came out with new dial colors.
Yeah.
Originally, when I first heard about the Inflection line, there's only one dial color, and now they come out with like 3 new ones and like this crazy green emerald one.
Is amazing.
Insanely beautiful. So that's one where it's something to look out for. Like, they are constantly trying to bring new things and ramp it up. And then on like the brands,
can I say something about Atelier Wen again, just before you move on to the next one? What I like about them, and some people, they may get some like slack from some collectors that are in a certain price point or used to a certain price point, is that they are unapologetic about if they want to do something that they think is cool. It doesn't matter to them if it's, a $30,000 watch or a $3,000 watch. They're willing to take the chance and do it. And I appreciate that, because they do it and then they still stick to their guns with offering, what they've been offering, their core concept. So I really appreciate that about them. I think Ming kind of does something similar. So I just wanted to say that. I don't think the criticism of them going up in price in certain parts of their watches is justified, because they're still doing the other stuff.
The other most improved brand, I actually, for like a major brand, I want to give that to Longines, just because I feel like they've just been coming out with hit after hit for the last few years, and they now have micro adjust in like all of their clasp, and their other sister brands, like some of them was above them, I don't want to name them, but they don't all have that.
Might you be wearing one of them?
No, like this has a micro adjust, but like, at price points that are way higher than them, they're like doing really well within their group. They brought a high beat watch for $4,000. They brought a flyback chronograph for $5,000. You know, they brought a GMT titanium for $4,000 or $5,000 as well. I just feel like they're just constantly elevating things and then improving them. People didn't like the stars on the dial, they took it off. People complained about micro adjust, they brought micro adjust into all their watches. Like they're constantly improving, and I see it from my side. What do you guys have for most improved brand?
I have a tie between two, but it makes sense because they're both in the same group. I'm going with GP with the new 50th anniversary Laureato. I think it's a game changer for them. I don't think it's really talked about enough, as well as the 3 gold bridges that was launched during Dubai Watch Week.
That was crazy.
Both awesome. And you can just see now that they're not part of a larger group, the two brands with them and Ulysse Nardin, I think, crushed this year in terms of releases, in terms of press, in terms of storytelling. It feels like everybody you talk to at that brand is just so bought in, and you don't really see that a lot. They're all watch people and they all love the brand, and I don't feel that every single time I talk to a brand, and I think you guys are the same way.
Yeah, so I'm going with a brand that, it's been a little rocky for the, last few years. I'm going to go with Bremont.
Wow.
Because I think they did a really good job with the altitude line, kind of getting back to like their core competency or what they do well, and making kind of those slight improvements to it rather than radically changing everything. So I like pretty much all of the altitude line. And then I do actually really like the jump hour with the bronze one and then the steel one with the kind of like with the full covered case besides the seconds and the hours. I just think they kind of refound their identity and are tracking in the right direction. Excited to see where they go and if they continue kind of on the successful path that they've kind of refound in 2025 after a somewhat rocky 2024.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, 2024, when they redesigned their whole logo and then just revamped everything.
The Supermarine was kind of,
they everyone had a pretty strong reaction to it. And now, I think you make a good point. They're like coming back to their roots. And going back on track.
I'm not saying it's the best brand in 2025, but comeback player of the year, in sports. So, okay, next we have best collab. Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay.
So I was just in Miami with Tag Heuer and Hublot, and Tag Heuer released the Carrera fragment with Hiroshi Fujiwara. That was sick. It was so good. Hold on. It was so good that both Tan, who writes for Hodinkee, and Zach Blass, who writes for Time and Tide, literally at the Tag Heuer event, bought watches, like gave their credit card, bought full price these watches, like making the rest of us look bad because I'm not laying down $10,000 like on the spot. But I mean, I've never seen that happen before from journalists from a release. That's how good it was. And I got to sit down with Fujiwara and talk about it. He's a really interesting guy. But I would say, so that's kind of an honorable mention, but I'd say the best one is, Ben has talked about this brand, Ulysse Nardin and Urwerk with the You Are Freak, because that thing is the perfect combination of both an Urwerk and a Ulysse Nardin. It has Ulysse Nardin's case, it has their grinder winding system, but it has like the satellite displays that you've come to know from Urwerk. So the fact that they spent so much time developing like this really seamless integration of the two watches, you don't really see that very often. You see like color changes and things like that. And, I was talking to them in Dubai when they released it, and they basically said that they're doing, I think, 100 pieces? Something like that, 50, 100 pieces. I don't know. I don't remember the exact amount. And then they're not doing it again. Maybe they'll do something else with Urwerk, but they're just not going to do it again. So they spent all this time developing something really unique and probably pretty expensive to develop. And they're sticking to their guns and going to make it this rare piece that you just need to get your hands on. So when brands collab together and do it in a way that's actually something different, I respect that a ton.
Wow, those are really strong choices. I'm like kind of stunned. Ben, do you want to go first? Next.
Ben Ren. Ben Ren.
Obviously the Ben Ren. That's one of them. You got to throw the Ben Ren in there.
Ben Ren Magma. We'll show some B-roll right now.
Magma. We'll show some B-roll. Yeah, loved it. I also personally just loved, we were so passionate about it and making the content for it, going back and forth all the time about different variations, about what we wanted. It was really cool to be behind the scenes on that. I've never done that before. So I have to, I did it. So I have to pick it. And I think it was well received. It sold out. So I'm very happy. And then the other one that's not self-promotion is a little bit out of the box pick, but I think similar to what Craig said, the Zenith Defy Chronograph USM collaboration.
Yeah.
It did really well. I just spoke to one of them. I was just in Switzerland and I was talking to somebody at the brand. They said like best-selling watch maybe of the year from Zenith, which is pretty crazy, or at least for like being sold out. What I liked about it is not only were they just different colors, they were also the core USM colors, plus the box was USM, plus the Chronograph hand had the ball bearing, just like the USM furniture. I think they really thought about it properly. Like a lot of the picks on my list, I don't think it get enough love. And I personally loved it. I wanted to buy it, and they told me I can't anymore, which is unfortunate.
Wow.
They're already sold out. It's a limited edition. Is that right?
It's limited edition. I also, this is a separate conversation for another day, but like I hear brands say sold out all the time. And I'm not saying Zenith did this, but I've heard this from other brands. And then all of a sudden you find out that it's not sold out and you're like, what do you mean? It's just like, but like, I think it probably is. But I love that watch.
That's a good choice. I actually had that in the back of my mind. I struggled really hard with this category, maybe just because I didn't pay a lot of attention to collab brands. I actually have the Ben Ren on here, because I wanted to just like list out what I was thinking of. I'll just tell you the things that were on my list, but I don't really have a clear winner. I guess I was looking at all the creators because I interpret this as like a creator watch. So I also have like the Teddy Brew, which I thought was fun.
I think we should talk about that for a second.
Okay, let's talk about it. Yeah.
I did a video on this watch, a long form YouTube video. In terms of aesthetically, I don't think it's the most exciting watch. I think it's very Teddy. Teddy's very down to earth, Midwestern, like one of the nicest guys in the biz. And like the colors I think are nice. Blues, like dark blue and light blue. But it's not like the most crazy out there watch you'll ever find. I think it's like a fairly safe watch. What I do really want to say about it is this being Teddy's first collab, he could have gone with Grand Seiko. He could have gone Glashuta Original. He could have gone with so many other brands, and he chose to go with a brand that basically every one of his followers could afford and buy if he wants to. It's obvious that it wasn't just like let's go with the most prestige. Let's go to where we can make the most money. Let's go with something that is accessible to all my people. And also, it's a brand that while Brew, like Studio Underdog, may not be classified as a microbrand anymore, has kind of like grown up at the same time. And it's not like this huge group brand, legacy brand. So, supporting kind of the smaller guy at least a little bit. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make about that.
I think that's a good point, actually. I think I watched his own video and they were talking about how they kind of started their careers around the same time, like with their first video. So it was really cool for them to like come back full circle to do that as their launch. So that was the first one of my
Sorry,
many.
I just thought that should be talked about.
That was Craig's love letter to Teddy right there. Okay, next one is I also put, these are the ones that came to my mind. I put the Nico Leonard and Mon, the Jump Hour. I thought that was cool. I actually saw a few in Dubai when I was out there, so that was cool. And we also saw Nico there. Ben Ren, obviously, for my homies here, because you guys did a really funny video with the volcano, like science elementary school.
You were supposed to like be there chilling with us.
I was supposed to be there, but I don't remember what happened. I couldn't come. I also had on here the Studio Underdog and Fears Manhattan, because that was like a big thing, or at least the marketing around it was really big. And apparently it's sold out. I just saw online. There were a lot of like collabs like this. I think though my favorite is going to be the Urwerk, the You Are Freak, because I got to see that when we were in Dubai, and I was like, the kind of technicality to pull off this kind of both of these brands coming together to do a true collaboration versus like a dial of this person's choice or color.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I thought that was really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to move on to number 15. Okay.
Two more things left.
This one is the most overhyped or overpriced watch or brand of 2025.
I'll go first to get it out of the way.
I
honestly, like, at a certain point, I feel bad saying this because I have talked a lot of crap
I think everyone knows what you're going to say.
But I have to stay true to myself.
Okay.
I think it's a lot of the watches from Denizen. Some people like their aesthetic. That is completely fine. There's something weird going on with the brand, and I don't understand why it gets so much love because I don't think it's necessarily deserved. I think there's a lot of brands, including another brand, small brand called Anders & Co., which I just found making, I think, a way better stone dial dress watch for cheaper than the Denizen. And a mechanical watch at that, not a quartz watch. You can go look at my video. I don't want to say too much else.
I'll go next. I mean, we all knew that was coming. So I'm going to go with a brand also. It's a brand that I love, but I feel like they've been kind of listless or just not any real identity the last few years. And they released a really good watch this year, but it also was unaffordable for basically everyone and unobtainable probably. So I'm going to say AP. They haven't done, I think, really anything of note in the last, like, I don't know, 5 years. The RD5 is great, but it's basically a concept watch that none of us can afford or be able to get. So I just want to see more from them rather than like this color Royal Oak or this color ceramic Royal Oak. Let's see something like
Very
actually
fair.
interesting. It could be a Royal Oak, but it could also be, you know, like a dress watch or something else. So I want to see more from them because they are one of my favorite brands. But I just feel like, can I name like an AP of note that's been released in the last 5 years? I don't know.
I like the star wheel from the Code. I think that's cool because
That's
it's different.
cool.
They brought the star wheel.
But that wasn't this last year. That was 3 or 4
last-
years
yeah,
ago.
Yeah, that's 3
so
years ago.
So that's my thought. I think that they have so much potential to be doing really cool stuff, and they just haven't released that production watch that we all want, besides, you know, a different variation of a Royal Oak.
I think they also have a problem. The problem, it's a good problem for them and also a bad problem, but the problem is that everyone who goes AP just wants the Royal Oak. Like they have the other lines like the Code and the Offshore and the Diver and like, but everyone just wants a Royal Oak. If you could walk in and they just would allocate that to you, that's majority of what people would buy. So they have to do the strategy where they get you to buy other stuff in order for you to, you know, get the Royal Oak. But I also think they could do more with the Royal Oak at the same time. Like there's some vintage day date. I think it's the one to call the owl, where it has like the 2 apertures and it looks like an owl. And there's like some cool stuff they could bring back and put it in a price point that's like, I don't want to say affordable, but like within their normal line. Like the RD5, like you said, is really cool, but it's like unobtainium.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can walk in and buy it or even try to like wish list it. It's like just really far up there.
It's gonna make what, 5 a year maybe or something like
Yeah.
that, you know. So I agree with that. I also think that you look at brands like Patek and Rolex, and they have like Patek has more than the Nautilus, and people can critique the Cubitus as much as they want, but at least they're trying to move beyond just being the Nautilus. AP should be in the same conversation with them, with, you know, high horology and all of this stuff. So I think they could do more.
I don't have a specific watch or brand for overhyped or overpriced. I think generally what I want to say is that this year we had so many price increases that so many things to me feels overpriced as someone who sells them and also someone who collects them. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, watches that used to be in the 4,000 range are now in the 6 to 7. And they're more or less the same watch, but because of the way the US dollar is to the Swiss franc and because of tariffs, now they're suddenly supposed to be priced higher, even though they're kind of the same watch. I think that's not a good thing for the industry and for the consumer. I see it firsthand because I think most people, when they want to buy themselves a nice watch, I think 5,000 is like a very reasonable price point. I don't want to sound like out of touch because 5,000 is still a lot of money, but I think people are willing to spend 5,000 on a nice watch, but now their $5,000 options are like in the 7s. So now their options are like how we started in the beginning, like what is around 5,000? There was like nothing the 2 to 5 that we could think of. I'm sure after this episode, we're going to suddenly think of a million of them, but like when it comes quick to mind, it's not very simple. So price increases this year, nobody liked them.
Well, I think the problem is that the $2,000 to $5,000 range of like the Tudors and the Grand Seikos and potentially in the past the Omegas and stuff, they move beyond that price point, and it's really hard for like micro brands to like rationalize filling that price point, because then that becomes very expensive for a brand that doesn't have the same legacy. It becomes this like kind of void where there's like a few brands there, but like not really anyone else, because the smaller brands, a lot of them don't want to try it because it's a big risk and it's expensive. And, you know, I'm going through a period where we're working on a watch that's kind of going to be in that price point. And, you know, it's a little scary.
Those are some great points.
So I'm going to introduce the last category, and I have kind of like an extension of that in the last category. So I'll start, I guess.
Yep.
So it's the brand to watch in 2026. And I'm going to self-promote here and say Ren.
Classic.
No, and no, because it's the brand that I have the most insider knowledge of what's coming in 2026. I know a little bit, but like most of the brands haven't really started to bring out their, watches and wonders stuff and like showed us what they're doing. So I know what I'm doing. It's going to be, as I said, there's one of our watches, our new watch. We're coming out with a non-diver, and I've shown both of you it, and it's hopefully going to be very different. And we're taking a big risk with this watch, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth what we're putting into it. I would say watch Ren, just because it's going to be very different than what anybody I think will expect from us. And I hope that it will cement us as one of these affordable independents rather than just a micro brand. So when you think of like Colloquium and Anoma and maybe like Space One and brands like that doing interesting things, I hope that this watch puts us there. So I'm just going to say Ren just because I know what we're doing, and I hope that people like it.
Honestly, that was beautiful. I know a lot of times when Craig has to bring up his own brand, he might feel a little nervous because he's like, oh, people are going to think I'm just self-promoting. But like, when you talk to CEOs of certain brands, they have to say their own brand because that's where they work. But for Craig, he's the founder. He's putting his own money into this brand. So when he's really passionate to talk about it, it means something. And he has to try not to talk about his brand when he's on the podcast a lot. I'm also excited to see what Ren has to come. I don't know. Ben, you go first. I don't know.
Well, the reason why I said classic is I literally had Ren, and I think I actually brought up once more, but that was one of mine. I have two.
You've seen renders of what we're doing.
Because I know what's coming. It's sick. It's cool. I'm not going to say anything other than that. It's really, really cool. And then the other brand out of left field, I think a trend in general for 2026 includes brands like Atelier Wen. I think Chinese watchmaking is going to really bring into the forefront of a lot of collectors' minds. I think it's still, for some collectors, they don't get it. And I think it will always sort of be like that for the next 5 years. But next year, I think brand to watch from this year, next year would be Behrens.
I knew you were going to say that when you started saying Chinese watch brands. I knew you were going to say that.
They've collabed with big independent watchmakers, including Vianney Halter, which is like the pinnacle of pinnacles. Yeah. And then they've also done a couple collabs with Konstantin Chaikin. And not only are they doing these really cool watches, but they are not as like I just went on the website a couple days ago to just go look to be like, how much are these? The Konstantin Chaikin watches are under $10,000, which I know is still a lot of money for most people. But what you're getting, the watchmaking you're getting, and the innovation is really, really, really cool for that price. Nobody else is doing something like that. It's something that I would buy. I mean, I was actually considering buying one. So I think next year, it's sky's the limit for them. They're going to crush.
I also think a brand like that I've been seeing around that I haven't really got hands on that I would like to see. I think it's Fam Al Hut. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
No.
I've seen those.
They look sick. Are they made in China? I don't even know where they're made.
I think so.
They're sick. This reminds me that I need to try and reach out to them to get a hands-on of them. Anyway,
I think for me, this is coming from a personal collecting side. Is I'm not really sure what brand I'm actually excited to see come out with new stuff. I feel like for my personal collecting right now, I've been a little bit more conservative, and now I'm just like kind of liking what's coming out. But there's a lot of watches that are already out. I think for me, I started looking at vintage watches this year. So I don't know. I just been like I think my personal interest has been going back into brands' archives and looking backwards versus then looking forwards. Because I think that a lot of the brands are also looking backwards too. They're looking back at their older references and then re-releasing them at a higher price.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just look backwards? And that's where my focus is. So that's how I would wrap it up. Like I am going to cover all the cool watches that come out every year as normal, but my personal interest has been looking a little bit back into seeing what brands are doing then and why they were imported years ago.
That's very interesting. And from like a retailer that doesn't do like pre-owned or vintage or anything, it's really interesting that that's kind of the way that you're looking personally.
Personal. Because I'm just like, I don't know, everything comes out is always new and always new. I'm like, what if you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel? That's what I keep thinking about. Like we went on that little tangent with AP, but I'm like, but the watches people actually walk in and want is still the Royal Oak. So they're stuck in this problem where they have to do it.
Yeah. I'm not saying stop the Royal Oak. I love the Royal Oak.
Not stop it, but like they have to keep only working on the Royal Oak because that's what people want.
So I'm going to throw a wrinkle in this because this was supposed to be the last one. But I'm going to say, guys, if you have to pick one watch, the grand prize, best watch of 2025, it can be something you already picked or it can be something that you haven't picked yet. What would it be? I know I'm putting you guys on the spot, but let's do it. I think you can't wrap up without picking an overall watch.
Okay, like right now, if we got to like someone were gifting it to us, we can.
Yeah, just any watch. It can be any criteria. Best watch. It could be what you would want to wear. What do you think is the most interesting? What do you think has the coolest complication? It could be anything.
Wow.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
So I just actually saw it for the first time maybe 2 days ago. It is the last watch released of Breguet's 250th anniversary. And I just did a video on it, the Experimental one. It has a 10 hertz tourbillon, which means it's like 72,000 vibrations per hour. So it's like a high beat tourbillon, which is kind of unheard of. And so that tourbillon sweep is super smooth. And it also has magnetic escapement so that there's like almost no friction and keeps it really, really accurate. And maybe their most technically advanced watch and something that's going to, I think, trickle down into less expensive lines. But it's also like really comfortable. It's 42 millimeters, but it slopes down, really cool to wear. And it's this cool, meld of, traditional Breguet with like kind of futuristic, modern Breguet. And there was nowhere for me to really put it in all the categories that we had already. So I felt like I had to mention it because I'm excited also to see what Breguet does in this coming year.
Now you just reminded me that when I said I didn't really have a brand to watch in 2026, actually it is Breguet, because Breguet for years now has kind of been a little stagnant. They have a full new CEO who came from Omega, who did stuff like the first Omega in space, the White House Speedmaster. I feel like he understands kind of the ideas of what collectors want. And then this year with their big anniversary, they came out with a lot of really cool pieces that we all enjoyed, like the subscription you mentioned earlier.
The Type 20s.
The Type 20s. I really like the tradition with the blue enamel, which was really nice. So I would say Breguet because I want them to be spoken about the same way people talk about Patek and Vacheron.
But this is not getting you out of picking a number one watch. So pick.
Still have to pick.
Yeah, you got it. Come on. Ben, do you have something?
I wish I did.
Throw something out there.
Well, I'm thinking of it like if someone were like, "Hey, Derek, you can have this watch. Which watch would I want right now?" Like, do I go really high end? Because then it just kind of negates everything under like 1,000. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want just a free 1,000 watch. I want something.
That's your own criteria.
Yeah.
Ben, pick something.
My mind immediately goes to the Laureato 50.
Okay.
It's just if you were like, Ben, you could pick one, I'd pick that, but not two-tone. But I just love how that watch wears. I think they did such a good job. I feel like I can't choose that.
I feel like
what I want.
They're going to come out with a non-two-tone at some point in the near future.
Next year,
so I think that's a good pick. It's
yeah.
Laureato 50. Maybe he'll wait 6 months and see if something else comes along. Maybe not. Okay, now pick something.
Well, I mentioned this watch on my wrap-up video, and I didn't get to mention it today. So it's something that I went to see like 3 times personally this year, even when I was on vacation. So I think this is a good choice. But the Louis Vuitton Timbre Convergence.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it until this collector, Lex Barrero, came on my show and showed it to me that he had personally purchased it. It's a dragging hour, so it has like the guichet, like the tank, but instead of jumping, it kind of slowly drags over. And I want to say that I think what Louis Vuitton has been doing with La Fabrique du Temps has been really cool.
Yeah.
So this is part of that whole collection. That would be the watch where I was in Singapore and I literally asked them, how much is this in US dollars? And they're like, oh, I can try to get you one if you're still here within this few days. And I actually thought about it.
What was the price again? It's expensive,
I don't remember.
Right?
It's still like 30. No, it's
right.
around 30,000 US dollars. And I thought, okay,
by the way, that's a brand to watch next year. I think what they did this year was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I now I have to kind of pull back what I said earlier, but these are things that were historically like references that like the Monterey as well, but now they're redoing it. So it's a cool
Monterey
stuff.
Is expensive though.
Yeah, that is quite expensive.
All right. Well, those are all of our picks from 2025. Let us know your picks, your overall pick, any of the categories we talked about, what we got right, what we got wrong. Let us know your thoughts.
I'm surprised we did not mention Tudor once this whole video.
Yeah.
I just realized that. None of us chose a Tudor.
But I don't think they came out with anything that would be worthy of any of those categories, maybe outside the Dune White.
Yeah,
right?
the Dune White would be like the everyday watch. That was the only one I had I had it on my list, but I didn't choose it. Yeah.
They had like the cherry or mahogany or whatever.
Black Bay 58.
58, which is cool.
And
but I think it was a big
Doesn't
year
get
for
in.
Rolex, so maybe Tudor purposely didn't have as big a year, and maybe we'll see some big things out of Tudor in 2026.
Probably.
Possibly.
So let us know. Thank you for supporting us all of this year. We were in Dubai, and so many people came up to us and talked to us and said how much they enjoy the podcast and our individual content. So that was kind of great to see. It's really great interacting with all of you in person. So if you ever see us in person, say hello. And, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
2026.
We also did an event for the first time this year, just to recap what we've been doing. We did our first event with Oris. So I want to give a shout out to Oris because they were the first brand to take a chance on us and help us host our first meetup, which we did over the summer. And we sold out all of the reservation spots within like 2 hours. Yeah. And we even had to reschedule it because it was like a downpour raining and people still came out the following week to come support. So really big thank you to everyone who's been watching and supporting all of us individually and also our show.
Yep.
And that's
awesome.
It. Thank you.
I appreciate it. See you 2026.
See you in 2026.
All right. See you guys next year.